Howdy do, fella kids. It's the professional dillweed here, and today I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. Today we're going to be showering this in Christmas lights because tis the season. There wasn't any indefinite number that I was able to see as far as how many feet. I'm going to throw that thing through a wall. There wasn't any indefinite number that I saw that you need to cover a truck or car or anything. So from the research that I have done, I did not see any specific number as far as how many lights or how many feet of lights that were needed to cover an entire truck. I asked ChatGPT, yes, I'm ashamed to admit it, and it said I needed anywhere between 750 to like 800 feet of lights to cover the whole thing. So I went ahead and got 1,012 feet of LEDs just to make sure. And the other thing you are going to need is an inverter. If you do not have a vehicle that has, well, one of the old house plug outlets in it, then you're going to need one of these. All right, so I got the inverter plugged up to a cigarette lighter right here in the back seat. And the reason why I like this inverter is it has a switch to turn off the outlets. That way you can easily reach from the front seat to here to turn everything off. And another thing I would use is painter's tape. Reason why I would use painter's tape over pretty much any other tape is because this isn't going to leave as much residue. So it's easier to clean whenever all the season is over. Some other people may say, geez, putting painter's tape on your truck here is sure going to ruin the paint. And for that, I have to say, yeah, I think the paint is already cooked. All right, so I got a quarter of the lights that I have laid out. You can see the plug right there. And this is just a quarter of the amount of lights that I have. So I should have enough, right? Alrighty, so I got the actual plug hooked up to the inverter here. And then I got, for some reason, this specific strand of light has a lot of access. Or excess, I should say. What I was able to do is just tape that down there. I'm able to close the door and then plug up the next strand here. So the next steps would be if I want to use my rear door in the next coming months. No one really uses my back seat, so the way that I'm going to get this wired up is, well, my rear door isn't going to open. All right, so I got 0.1% done. Yes, I know that if you all could just leave me alone, that'd be great. As you can see the pattern that I'm going in. And yes, I know this door is going to be unusable, which is a shame. But I'm going to try to make the passenger side rear door usable. Just the way that the wire comes out of this one, out through this one, I don't want it to be open and closed too many times and put wear on the actual cord itself. One thing I do have to say before I get too much further into this is I would very much recommend getting a car wash before doing all this, for the primary reason because once you do this, well, obviously you can't go through a car wash. All right, a few hours later, I've gotten the back, that bumper. I haven't gotten this quarter panel because I still have a good bit to go. And the weird way that this is wired up, the end of this doesn't have the plug in it, but the end is also like wired up to the front. So I'm having to account for that. But make sure you wire around any key lighting, which would be license plate lights, tail lights, and your third brake light. That way, whenever you're rolling around at night and they're not on, they're not obstructed. So here's the current progress. Of course, I started down yonder and I went whoop, 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 and then went up and over. And then from there, I went over here to the back, looped around, came over here on top, did my tailgate, then bumper, and then loop to here so I could do this rear quarter panel. This is still just 1/4 of the amount of lights that I have, so I may have gotten too many. All right, so here's the progress so far. As you can see, I took the time of day to make sure my gas cap worked. Instead of just going around it, I actually put lights on it so I can actually make sure I can fill this up, because sure, it's a Toyota, but this V8 has the power of a V6, but also has the fuel economy of a Triton V10. And then whenever you transition to a panel that you plan on opening, make sure you leave just a little bit of slack, like so you can open your door without repercussions. And one thing you do want to make sure of is make sure there's not too much slack, because as you're going down the road, wind will blow these, but don't make them too tight because you'll stress the tape too much and then it will come off. So one thing you do want to check for while you're, or right after you install them, is go down the road at a reasonable speed. See if you see any strange movement on your hood. Sure, you can't see on your roof or anything, but also look in your rear view mirrors to see any weird movement. But I do see some movement on my rear driver's side wheel well, so I'm gonna get that fixed here shortly. And that's why always carry this with you. Another thing to keep in mind is your road noise is gonna go way the heck up depending as to how well you secured your lights. For example, this little bugger over here is rattling away, but that's something I could easily fix at the next stoplight. Try to rattle now, biatch. And I will say, driving at night can be potentially just a little bit distracting. Hopefully you can see why, because you got these lights right here on your hood, and looking at your mirror here, and of course the glare off the ones right below your door. It can be a little bit distracting, so I typically opt to drive with them off. So the things that I was able to get working would be the passenger front door, the passenger rear door, my driver door, of course, my gas cap, because you need that. And the most important thing, at least in my opinion, would be the hood. In case if for some reason you need an oil change or you need to top up any fluids while you have this whole thing going on. And last but not least, the tailgate. Because occasionally you need your truck to do truck stuff. And yes, those are my leftover lights. But I have to admit, with everything closed up like this, it looks good. Sure, you could see a couple of spots where I potentially could have added just a little bit more. For example, there was one spot that I did need to touch up, and it was the back. This is what it looked like before.
7:59 a.m.
And now is the first time in the rain, so we're gonna see how well this fares. I am a little bit nervous because, well, it's a paper-based tape, and paper doesn't fare too well with water. Just looking at it the way right now, it should be fine. I mean, if I could have gone with like duct tape, but then all that residue. First, let's make sure that they still work with all this dampness. Oh, yep, we're good. All right, so of course, rain's still coming down, and coming down pretty good. We seem to be solid, for the most part. There is one piece back there I see flailing in the wind, but obviously that's nothing I can fix right now. Alrighty, so I believe I've covered all my bases, showing you how to do it. As far as the pattern, it does really help if you have running boards. If not, main reason being is so you can have some slack going up to the door so you can open it. But if you guys have any other questions regarding this, leave a comment down below and I will try my best to get you a good answer for it. But with all that out of the way, that is where I'm going to start wrapping up today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure you show some support by dropping a like. If you're new around here, consider hitting that subscribe button. And most importantly, be sure you hit that booty. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.